Here to pick my contender tonight, from Food Network's Chop, Ted Allen, and from the Today Show, Tamron Hall. Who you got?
Our first contender is no stranger to pressure. Meet the executive sous chef of Redwood Restaurant, John Wassil.
Our next contender has achieved more at 26 years old than some chefs twice her age. Please welcome executive chef Kat Humphus.
You'll have 20 minutes to make one ingredient the star of your dish. And that ingredient is fluke. Your time starts now.
I want to make the flavor of the fish a lot more savory. I'm making a pan-seared fluke with a mushroom ragu. I start with cremini mushrooms and oyster mushrooms. I chop them up with ginger for a little bit more of an Asian feel.
To pick someone to go against Bobby Flay, what I look for is they gel a plan quickly.
My strategy to get to Bobby today is simplicity. I started working at my father's fruit stand at 8 years old. After years of watching my father struggle, I was nervous about going on the same path. But my father encouraged me to enroll in culinary school, and I quickly became Pittsburgh's go-to guy for opening high-volume restaurants. There's no cuisine I can't crush.
I start to work on the side dishes right away. I instantly grab baby bok choy and saute it in butter. I'm gonna make panko crusted fluke, bok choy, and shishito peppers. Pairing unlikely ingredients together is what sets me apart. At 19, I left San Diego to go to Le Cordon Bleu after I landed 2 internships at some of the best restaurants in the country, French Laundry and the Michelin-rated WD-50. At 22, I was offered an executive chef position.
The first step of my ragu is to saute the mushrooms. I toss them in the pan, then I add chopped ginger, and then jalapeno, because I want a little bit of heat. And then I grab Swiss chard to bring out more of a bitter flavor.
That's 12 minutes to go.
For my fish, I put a thin layer of mayonnaise on so that the panko breading will stick.
I add heavy cream because it makes the fish buttery and sweet.
I want to get a varying texture on the plate, so I just put shishito peppers in the deep fryer whole.
5 minutes ago, my ragu is finished. My fish is in the oven. I start to plate.
John, you don't need these remaining 5 minutes?
Let my fish cook, it'll be perfect timing.
Hey, Kat, John's already plating.
I'm working on it. I pull out the shishito peppers. They look good.
3 minutes.
I finally get the fish out in the oven. I put the fish on top of the ragu.
27 seconds.
30
At
seconds.
the last minute, I have an idea.
Uh-oh, come on, Kat.
20 seconds.
I decide to add mascarpone to the shishito pepper for a little bit of creaminess.
15 seconds, folks.
As soon as I see Kat plop the mascarpone on a dish, I know I've got it in the bag.
Mascarpone doesn't make much sense to me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Chef Ted and I have the great mission of picking one of you to take down Bobby Flay.
Chef Kat, please tell us what you made.
I made a panko crusted fluke,
Bok choy.
and then a fried shishito pepper.
I love the way you cooked the fish. Nothing is underseasoned. It takes more skill than a lot of people realize.
You wanted me to feel as if I'd been transported to Paris.
Did we go?
Oui, oui. It's a perfect crunch, the bok choy, spot on. But, Chef, I have to admit, I don't understand the mascarpone.
It's a fish dish. I just have difficulty understanding why there would be a blob of dairy on the plate.
I wish I left it off the dish. I didn't think it through.
Chef John, what'd you make?
I made a pan-seared fluke with a mushroom Swiss chard ragu.
John, I love the way you cook the fish.
You've held onto a moistness on the inside of this that's really lovely.
I like the finishing touch of the heat.
It goes great with the earthy mushrooms, but I find myself craving acidity.
And I think the cream, it's close to overwhelming this fish. So, the chef who will go on to battle Bobby Flay is Chef Kat.
I'm ready for you.
Let's do this.
What is your signature dish?
My signature dish is lamb chops.
You will both have 45 minutes.
Your time starts now.
Rack of lamb is one of the first things that I really learned how to master. I'm here to prove that I have the skills to compete with an Iron Chef. I know this dish is gonna beat Bobby.
I love lamb chops. It really lends itself to lots of different cuisines.
Today I'm cooking lamb with an herb pistachio crust, glazed baby carrots, and risotto.
Lamb chops are gonna be the center of the plate, but to round out the entire dish, you need some supporting side dishes. So I'm thinking North African spiced lamb chops with tomato jam, a saffron couscous, and pomegranate yogurt. I'm gonna start by making a tomato jam with a little shallots and a little bit of garlic, red wine vinegar, some honey, and then some harissa. It will have a little heat and some sweetness.
Before I start the lamb, I make the pistachio crust. I use pistachios, butter, parsley, rosemary, and Dijon mustard for a nutty, savory flavor.
You got 38 minutes on the clock.
If I'm gonna win this thing, I really need the risotto done perfectly.
The risotto, how's it look?
I mean, it looks
good. Are you happy?
It's not cooked through, and the flavor is totally bland. I'm starting to panic. I caramelize some onions and grab white wine to add a depth of flavor and cook the rice through. Next, I sear the lamb. Next, I put the pistachio crust on. I put it back into the cast iron pan, and then I add beef stock and pomegranate juice. It's gonna give me a really delicious sauce.
We got flames.
like magic.
She's a show woman as well.
I always cook my lamb whole and then cut the chops from the rack. It takes longer, but you get a more tender piece of meat.
So my couscous is done. I add my almonds and apricots. And then start making the North African spice rub for the lamb chops using coriander and some fennel seed.
I taste the risotto and I decide to add mascarpone cheese and Parmesan cheese so it has the creamy texture. I like to play with a lot of colors and textures, so I decide to make glazed baby carrots with butter and honey to add a great little crunch.
I'm cooking my tomato jam down for as long as I can. I really want the flavors to concentrate and I want the texture to be right. Grab some yogurt, mix it with some pomegranate molasses for some sweetness. I want the yogurt to cool out the heat from the tomato jam.
I'm not 100% sure. My rack of lamb is cooked through, but it needs to rest.
The danger is if you cut it without resting it, all the juices can rush out onto the cutting board.
I know I need to start making my pomegranate reduction sauce. I pour the juices into the strainer and just add butter, and I add a smear to the plate.
2-minute warning!
So I taste my tomato jam. It's a little spicy. So I just add a little creme fraiche just to kind of smooth out all the flavors. I start plating the jam, then I put the yogurt down, then a little bit of couscous. I bring over the lamb, and I'm done.
Hey, Kat, you gotta get that lamb on the plate. You're at 1 minute, 15 seconds.
I cut into the lamb. I put one chop on each plate and just hope that it's cooked enough.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chefs, congratulations. Time to meet your judges.
First up, the executive chef and owner of Commerce Restaurant, Harold Moore. Next, the owner of D'Artagnan, Ariane Degan. And the creative director of Delicious Content, Todd Coleman.
This is a blind taste test. Please begin with the plate in front of you.
This is a very classical Moroccan dish, yogurt, the couscous, the harissa. To me, all three elements are a little too sweet, but that double chop is perfectly cooked.
The lamb is juicy, it's tender, but I want more tartness in the yogurt and spiciness in the tomato sauce.
But it looks beautiful. It's refined and sophisticated.
All right, judges, please switch plates.
My lamb is nicely cooked. Everything here is very complimentary.
I like the pistachio and the carrot, but my chops are a little bit on the raw side.
The risotto in the center of the plate tastes like a gummy rice pudding, but I love the playfulness on the plate. The sauce is delicious. Matches really well with the pistachio, which I appreciate.
All right, judges, it's now time for you to cast your votes.
Well, Bobby and Kat, the judges have decided, and the winner is Bobby Flay.